Have you ever felt like you're drowning in data jargon? You know, people throwing around terms like data warehouse, data lake, and now this new kid on the block, data mesh. Well, you are absolutely in the right place. We are going to cut right through all that noise and explain how companies are trying to get a handle on this modern flood of data. Let's get into it. So, first things first, why does any of this even matter? Well, look at this number. By 2025, we're projected to be creating 463 exabytes of data every single day. I mean, that's a number so big, it's hard to even wrap your head around. Trying to store and actually use all that information isn't just some tech problem, it's a massive business challenge. And this picture, this just perfectly shows the core problem. See, on the left, you've got all your data sources. Apps, websites, sensors, you name it. And they're just growing like crazy. Then, on the right, you have more and more people. Analysts, marketers, executives who desperately need that data. And who's stuck right in the middle? Yep, usually a single centralized IT team that just becomes a huge bottleneck. Everything grinds to a halt. This is the fundamental puzzle every data architecture is trying to solve. So naturally, the first big idea to tackle this was pretty logical. Hey, let's just put everything in one place. Let's take a look at these classic centralized approaches. First up, we have the data warehouse. This is the original heavyweight champion of business intelligence. For decades, this was pretty much the way to do it. The entire goal was to create one single source of truth for the whole company by gathering up all its nice, clean, structured data. The library metaphor here is perfect. Think of it as a place where every book is perfectly cataloged, in its right spot, and ready for you to find a reliable fact. And this diagram shows you exactly how that works. You've got data coming in from all your systems, and it goes through this ETL process. That's just a fancy term for extract, transform, and load. Basically, the data gets pulled out, cleaned up, and forced into a nice, neat structure before it's even allowed into the warehouse. From there, it gets served up in these smaller data marts for teams like sales or marketing to use. Okay, so the warehouse was great for predictable reports, but then the world got messy. What do you do with things like social media posts, server logs, images, or videos? The super rigid structure of a warehouse just couldn't handle that stuff. And that exact problem gave birth to the data lake. So if the warehouse is a pristine library, the data lake is a giant reservoir. You can just pour anything and everything into it, raw, messy, in its original format, and worry about making sense of it later. This comparison really makes it click. A warehouse uses what's called schema on write. You have to define the structure first before you write the data. But a lake? It's schema on read. You just dump the data in and figure out the structure when you're ready to analyze it. You can see how this leads to different users, right? Warehouses are perfect for business analysts who need reliable reports. Lakes are a playground for data scientists who want to dig through raw data to build things like machine learning models. Of course, it wasn't long before people started saying, hey, can't we have the best of both worlds? Because, let's be honest, data lakes could sometimes turn into data swamps, just a huge, unusable mess. And so, the Data Lakehouse was born. It's a hybrid, an attempt to give you that cheap, flexible storage of a data lake, but with the powerful structure and reliability of a data warehouse on top. But here's the plot twist. All of those approaches are centralized. What if centralization itself is the problem? What if the real answer isn't a bigger library or a deeper lake, but a totally new way of thinking? And this quote really nails the core idea behind the data mesh. It's not just a new piece of technology, it's a whole new philosophy. It tells us to stop thinking about data as this exhaust fume that we collect in a central tank and start treating it like a valuable product that we create, own, and share. So here's the most important takeaway. Data mesh decentralizes everything. Instead of one central team trying to manage all the company's data, the ownership is given to the individual business teams, the people who actually know the data best. The sales team owns the sales data, the marketing team owns the marketing data, and they're responsible for serving it up as a high-quality, ready-to-use product for everyone else. Now, this whole philosophy rests on 4 big principles. You've got that decentralized ownership by domain, the idea of treating data as a product, providing a self-serve platform to make it easy for teams to build their products, and then a kind of federated rulebook to make sure it all still works together. This diagram shows it all in action. See how data from a CRM or weblogs isn't just getting dumped into one central place. No, instead, the domain teams are grabbing it, cleaning it, and packaging it into these high-quality, trustworthy data products, like a customer product or a WebClicks product, that they then publish for anyone in the company to find and use. Okay, that's a lot, I know. We've got these really different ways of thinking about data, so how in the world do you choose what's right for you? Let's put them all head to head. This is really the whole story in one chart. You see the pattern here, right? Warehouse, lake, lakehouse, they are all about centralized control, central governance, central scaling. But then you get to data mesh and it just breaks the pattern. It pushes governance out to the domains and it scales by adding more teams, not by making the central system bigger. This is exactly why it's such a good fit for really big, complex companies, where that central team is just overwhelmed. So, when do you stick with a classic data warehouse? It is still the absolute king for standard business intelligence. If you need rock-solid, consistent dashboards, historical reports, or that one clean source of truth for the regulators, the warehouse is a proven, powerful workhorse. A data lake, on the other hand, is all about flexibility. It's the perfect home for your data scientists who need to sift through mountains of raw, messy data. Think training ML models, exploring new ideas, or just storing a fire hose of data coming from IoT devices. That's where the lake shines. And the data mesh? This is for complex situations. Think of a huge global company with tons of different business units that all kind of do their own thing. A mesh empowers those teams to own their own data destiny, generate insights super fast, and not have to wait in line for a central team. It's all about agility. So, at the end of the day, picking an architecture isn't just about the technology, it's really about your company's core philosophy about data itself. And that all boils down to this one question. Do you view data as a precious asset, something to be locked away in a central vault, guarded and cleaned by a few specialists? Or do you see it as a product, designed and owned by experts across the business, meant to be easily found and shared by everyone? The way you answer that question will tell you more about your data future than any tech spec ever could.